There are a lot of things that dentists tell us to do that I think are absolutely wrong. And these things include things like extractions, braces, palate expanders, filing your teeth down, or as some dentists call it, adjusting your bite. Another one is IPR, where they shave kind of between the teeth to make more gap and room so that teeth can condense. I think all of these things are wrong, and today I'm going to explain why. So first, let's start with a little context. I think most of us have been taught to trust our dentists, right? They're almost like doctors for us. They're professionals. We assume that they've been taught the right thing and that we can believe that what they tell us to do is the right thing for our health. Now, the problem with that is that it ends up not being true for a very large amount of cases. And when you run a community like I do with thousands of people that have been damaged by dentists and orthodontists, it starts to become very, very clear. They're very, very wrong. So why do I think that they've been taught the wrong thing? So I think the concept of dentistry and orthodontics is very focused on teeth, right? So it's very much about like, okay, what do we do to the teeth and how do we change the teeth or fix the teeth or make the teeth look better? But they're kind of forgetting that like the teeth don't exist in isolation. The teeth sit in bone. These bones are part of the cranium. The cranium is about 22 bones connected at soft tissue sutures, right? And when your teeth move or they're out of alignment, it is almost always because the bones or the jaw are out of alignment, right? You cannot separate these two things. And what I've generally found is that you should never focus on the teeth. You should focus on the bones and the jaw, right? And so I like to talk about how the entire skull is surrounded by this soft tissue balloon, and that simple mouth guards kind of inflate the balloon and the bones go back to where they should be, and the teeth go along with the bones and they go for the ride, right? So that is how I view the physics to work, and I'm seeing it work on many, many hundreds of people that were damaged by these dentists and orthodontists. And so I am quite confident that a lot of these procedures that they tell people to do and charge a lot of money for are absolutely wrong. And these include things like extracting teeth. So what happens when you take a tooth out, right? Especially if it's a healthy tooth, right? Like some teeth cannot be saved. But if you take a healthy tooth out, the rest of the skull collapses in and the bite changes as a result, right? So like when you take teeth out, you're basically accelerating the collapse process. And that's why a lot of people that have had, multiple extractions have a lot of health issues and functional issues, even cognitive and neurological issues from that. Another one is filing teeth down. So I had a TMJ dentist do this to me in 2014. He said he was correcting my bite, and there's a number of other types of TMJ dentists, like neuromuscular dentists, who believe that you can, adjust the surface of the teeth. And when that happened to me, I basically went from a decently functioning adult to like a completely non-functioning person within about a month. Brain fog, that I couldn't retain any information, felt like a hermit, looked like I was aging extremely rapidly, and all kind of functional things started to go wrong because they had adjusted my bite. And this, in my view, is completely wrong, and it's not how you correct things. Rather, you correct things by inflating the soft tissue and not by kind of messing around with the teeth. Another one is called IPR, or interproximal reduction, where sometimes if you have a bit of crowding, they'll shave the sides of the teeth down so that the teeth can all fit together. This is also completely the wrong way to think about the problem. You should be thinking about how to stretch the mouth out so that all the teeth in their current size have space to be there, and not shaving them down so that they fit into this collapsed space. Another one is forced expansion. So if you think about what I'm saying, where there's this soft tissue balloon, and if you have narrow arches, that generally means things are collapsed in, right? And so if you use a palate expander, like forced expansion or something like this, you're not changing this soft tissue balloon. You're just forcing the bones apart, and what happens is you just derange the rest of the bones, because it's like pushing on a puzzle and you just mess up the rest of the puzzle, because anyway, it's all contained in this soft tissue balloon, which is not changing size when you use an expander. So I've seen seen a lot of people being damaged by expanders. And braces are another one where, they just say, oh, hey, I'm going to move the teeth where they're nice and pretty. And they forget that the teeth are where they are for a reason. And that reason is they support the skull. And so what happens when a lot of people do braces is now the skull compensates and comes collapsing in a lot faster because dentists has unnaturally changed the support structure of the skull. So basically my point is, like, all these different things that we have been, taught to believe that they are okay because the dentist recommends them. I think that the dentists are absolutely wrong and that you should not let them do this to you. Rather, you should just try a simple mouth guard, and I bet it will fix most of the issues, but it will take time.